Hey everyone, we're starting to now get into the middle of April 2025. We just found a pretty big blockage. I'm gonna have to go get my big high boots on for it. So right here we have some regular drainage going through this pipe. It's buried deep, nice. Some of this water is coming from a beaver swamp that's backing up. We might have a log truck coming, or maybe a piece of heavy machinery working. I hear something, but it's okay. Right here, mud season creates potholes and logs fall off of the trucks. So don't follow log trucks too closely. They'll oftentimes throw a little cable up over the top, but that's just holding the ones on the top. The logs settle, become loose as the truck's moving around, and they can slip out, and they do. You find hundreds of them at the right time of year if you're driving these roads for hours. I probably drove by enough logs today to fill a whole truck. So right here, immediately I noticed, see the water coming out. There's a problem. These pipes are big enough to walk in, and I have to go into them because the blockages are right in the middle of the pipes. That's why oftentimes you'll see grates, because they want the beaver to plug it at the end where they can easily get to it, because now they'd have to get an excavator with a telephone pole to ram it through there. And beavers have been an issue here for a very long time. Look, they have an abandoned beaver deceiver unit with chew marks all over it. So how does this work? This will be put inside the pipe, and that's underwater, and water's supposed to slowly seep in it. It tricks the beavers for a while, but they almost always will outsmart that type of structure. The best type of structure is to have that going out with a giant cage around it where they can't really detect the flow. But here we are. There's two pipes. I already got down on my knees once to look in there, but I'll show you. See this one here? It's about 10 feet in. I think we can get that, but I'm gonna go in from the other side. Oh, what was that? Is that just a leaf falling? The beavers could be angry. I don't know if they just did this or if it's been like this all winter. I wonder what's coming. I hear an engine getting loud. There's something coming here. Okay, so the other one, it's within the... It's closer to the end. I hear something. Okay, we're coming down here. I can step in this water a little bit. Look at that. We should be able to get that pretty easily with the big high boots. The culvert is not in the best shape. It's maybe got a couple more years of life, then it's gonna have to be replaced. You see what we got going on down there? The bottom of these pipes are within their last year or so of life before that starts tearing out the bottom. And look at the piles of debris and stuff. They've been doing this for a while. Notice that electrical line in there. See it? That's definitely not up to code. They're running some power lines through here to run pumping systems. This part of the wilderness in Maine is a maple sugar farm taking up like tens of thousands of acres. It's a massive place. Well, I'm not going to wait for whatever vehicle it is. I was hoping to see a nice log truck, but we're going to start gearing up. If it comes, it comes. All right, everyone. I don't know if we're really going to see much over here on camera number 2, which is going to be on this end, but we're going to start it just in case we maybe see some sort of current there. In case maybe we see some sort of current, or maybe we'll get a time lapse of it dropping. I don't know how big this body of water is. It could go who knows how far in. I'm not sure if there's steep elevation here or not, but the majority of the action is going to be down here. And the pipe's not that big, so I'm not going to put the camera in there with myself. But I'm going to set you up downstream a little bit here. I don't think it's going to flood too much, but just watch what we end up getting out of here. This is going to be awesome. Thinking. Yeah, we can leave it here, I guess. This is going to be a big blast. That was quite the battle in there. All right, we got them both 100% open. Whew. All right, here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. We got it flowing really good. The first one I could almost not keep up with the current. And I gotta be careful where I'm walking. I'm suspecting this to be a hollow cavity. Well, that's a lot thicker than I thought it was, but we're standing over a ditch. Nice. Overhead view, here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. I think what I'm hearing is heavy equipment logging somewhere. And the other end, wow. I hope camera number 2 gave us a good time lapse. That's why the current stopped so fast. Look, even some ice broke. And I don't know if this is a primary beaver pond or not, but we're already taking them down without due diligence, because this time of year nothing's gonna freeze back up. And there's another power line there too, attached to all the trees. So that drained a lot faster than I thought. I don't think this is primary pond, to be honest. But look at the drainage ditch on this side. That left a hollow cavity. That's what I was trying to maybe break through on the other side. And we have a little beaver dam right here. It's now eroding underneath it, and it's now holding water in reverse. I just shut camera 2 off, and I'm so happy that it actually got the ice there breaking off. So we're doing good now. Now that the water levels receded, let's go down there and show you. The first culvert, I see why they started building there. There's a giant rock in there. This has obviously been a problem for years. Look at the excavator damage. Ooh, the snow breaking right there just scared me. Thought an angry beaver was gonna come out. Other culvert completely open. Nice. Here's what the inside of the primary flow culvert looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. Here's what the inside of the secondary flow culvert looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. Here's what the swamp looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. This boot is leaking. It's not overflowed. It's somehow leaking. See that piece of rebar? That was holding the beaver deceiver at one point. They just stuck it there. It would have been out there. Let's take a little walk. Nice. Too bad the whole thing wasn't frozen. That would have been fun. Ooh. These things always make me out of breath. I was only in there for a little while, but that's a lot of tugging while being bent over. And there's another beaver dam. So they used to have a pond up there, and they should have left it that way. Nobody would care. But since they needed this extra little bit of water, they're gonna end up getting relocated. I don't know where the lodge is, but I doubt it's around here because there's such little water. Hear that gurgling? It's like forcing itself through a cut in that dam. But despite the winter conditions, the beavers are still out and active. Ooh, look at the water just coming up out of the ground. That's getting fed somewhere by a much higher point. Now I want to walk down the road and see the condition of the culvert that this is being diverted to, and that the beavers blocked right over here. And I walk through here, it's very murky. I can't see anything because, like any dam, it's now eroding so much silt. This could be flowing nasty for hours. Let's see if I can somehow get up and out of here without getting too muddy, where I'll track it back into the truck. So I'm actually very happy today because we've never done this one before, but I found my way back to an area we haven't been to in 2 years. I've made some attempts to find it, but just didn't know what road to take. So I really want to find a certain culvert today. Don't know if it'll still be a problem after a couple of years, but it's that funny culvert from the video where I unclog it, put a trail camera up to see if the beavers will build back. And they start building when the water's flowing too much. When they get a partial dam, it just collapses in front of their eyes, makes a huge crash, scares the beavers away. At least this area is using the high quality metal pipes instead of the junk plastic. There's nothing down here, but that's quite interesting. What does anyone have to say about, ooh, a frog? Nope, that was a fish. But I have already seen frogs out despite the icy conditions. It's about to be their mating season. They bounce in and out of hibernation. They usually will lay eggs, then they'll go back into hibernation. The pond could even freeze over again. It happens in my yard every year. But look at that. Bungee cord, so it doesn't get cut there. They wrapped it a little bit. There's a lot of cuts and repairs along it. They have it up here on this little stand where they have it spliced. Yep. And this was blasting a lot. Look how the riverbed really melted. See how it's hollow under the ditch? That's what I was trying to break earlier. I don't want to touch any of that electrical stuff, but let's look in there. It looks like regular 200 amp wire that would be going to a residence. Oh man, it's right in the water. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know how they would have ever even connected that to the top. Yeah, I guess it was just really thick, because see, it holds me a little bit weaker than where I tried before. That's a frost heave. I don't think that's another pipe. Lots of frost heaves out this time of year. I don't know how I didn't notice the wire. It's just camouflaged over here. But that's going to like pumping stations and stuff. Maybe I'm hearing a massive diesel generator running right now. Something. But they have quite the maple operation out here. It's insanely big. I don't know why most people assume the maple syrup comes from Canada, because they make so much of it here. When I go in the supermarket, they have it from just about anywhere. You can get it from Maine. Vermont is a massive supplier. But when I go into Vermont, I always see tapping stations, but in real life, this is the biggest one I've ever seen. It takes you an hour or more just to pass through their operation when the roads are in good shape. I'm just noticing that looks like an old beaver lodge. It has been abandoned a while. I've been making maple syrup a lot lately. And I know a lot of people have been doing it at home too, because I smell it as I drive around every night. When you boil maple syrup, the whole area smells amazing. All right. Time to move on out. Let's see if we can figure out where all that noise is coming from. Oh, that was not a power line that I was showing over the beaver area. It's a giant hose for their pumping stations. Oh, look, there's the sugar house. Wow, we're that close, unclogging. That's what I'm hearing. Huge diesel generator. And they have a burn barrel there, too. Cool. There's quite a few of those out here. I don't remember that one. That might be a brand new building. It looks like it. We got a moose. I think it's gonna turn right here. Yep. I saw a moose. That's the third moose of the day. I'm backing up to show you this. Don't ever follow the log trucks too close. Look what fell off. We've been seeing these literally all day. Those are actually some of the bigger ones we've seen today. It's only paper wood, it's pulp wood. They're not doing lumber, so they're all fairly small, but they're usually like twigs. Those are got a little more beefy there. You see there's a few bumps right here? Every time you see some bumps, there's usually a couple logs. Another log. For anyone who hasn't seen this in real life, just a vast amount of forest with a spider web of hoses and pumping stations going back to that operation. And here's some more logs that fell off the trucks. Yep, as far as the eye can see in there, and all the way down the road. Just a spider web of hoses. You see the green hoses in there are actually tapping into the trees. And the blue ones, most of those are under pressure because the pumping station is far away. Or in some cases, they'll all be gravity. They're all going to a low spot, which has a pump. Look at that. We could drive for an hour and it's nothing but pumping station after pumping station and spider webs of tapped trees. Look, everyone, it just ran out of the road. We got a moose in there. It just started snowing a lot. Look at this. Look at all the maple syrup going through the culvert pipe. That's what that is. I must have passed at least half a dozen pumping stations. They're usually a little shed or a shipping container with pumps in them. I've been driving now for a half an hour and still both sides of the road are nothing but trees connected to the systems. And we've passed a couple of sugar houses. They're not all going to the same place. But it's such a massive operation around here. It's nice to see some snow in the middle of April. We are in the highest part of Maine right now, so it can snow even in early June up here. This is one of the coldest growing climates around. I haven't been showing them all, but right here is another sugar house. This is the third massive one we've seen out here, and it took me 5 hours to drive out here from the pavement. So these people definitely live out here and don't go to the store often. Look at all that steam. You can smell it. The whole area smells like sugar. And up here in this climate, they will probably be going for another 2 months. That's why they're up here so far. They have plenty of time to make tens of thousands of gallons of maple syrup. At least the road here is solid, because a few places further down I was afraid to pull over onto the shoulder, because you can get stuck pretty easily this time of year. Wow, another sugar house, one after another, only a couple minutes apart. So we've seen 4 of them. And they have a whole trailer full of stainless steel 55-gallon drums. They're shipping out massive quantities, probably to be repackaged somewhere else. I don't think they're bottling here, it seems. Yep, you can literally drive through here, and that's just this one road, an hour through it. And there's all kinds of other roads spider webbing through everything. So this area, they're obviously not going to log. This area, the maple trees are precious for these operations. You see the shed right there? That's a pumping station, and to the left, another pumping station in a shipping container. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but the sun just came out as it's snowing. It looks beautiful. This road's in really good shape. They must have just rebuilt it. That is a scary drainage ditch. You'd probably flip over if you fell in it. It's so big. They cut the trees really far back so they can't block the road if there's a storm. They did a lot of work here. There's no frost heaves. They lifted it up pretty nice. Why is the speed limit dropping here? I've been here before. I definitely recognize this. Oh, I think we're going through one of their camps. There's so many metal and plastic culverts, and you see the fuel island right there for the big rigs. They've got a lot of diesel out here. And I'm actually seeing power lines here. I'm curious to know if this is running off a generator or coming out of Canada, because we're real far out. Yeah, we just hit the Canada border. We're not going to drive through here. Turning around. I thought we were going to come across a special culvert I've been looking for years, but apparently not. But I have been here, and I know we're close. Haven't been to this area in a couple of years, but I recognize objects we're going by. Look at the buds on the trees. They're getting ready for spring. The buds are all turning bright red. It's starting to look pretty. I love this time of year. I sleep perfectly. I love when the temperatures get slightly below freezing at night. Whoa, that was a big frost heave. Okay, so what I'm thinking here is these couple sugar houses I just showed you, I think, are getting their power from Canada. Because Maine, if you look at a map, there's a whole quarter of the state. Nobody really lives here. It's all wilderness land. Most of it's protected land. And you need generators or solar out here. But I think from Canada, from Quebec, there's a power line coming in here that I just showed, going to a few of these sugar shacks. But where we unclog that pipe, I could hear it. There's a generator. There's something running. It's not going that far out. This shipping container definitely has a generator in it. I hear it running. There's a pumping station in there. There's also signs everywhere saying to report suspicious activity, so we're not going to walk around and show any of this stuff up close. We're going to turn around now at another sugar shack. They're everywhere out here. Because this road, I don't think is really where I want to be. It's also proving to be very, very bumpy because it's not a main artery. Hey, this area here, the trees, they all seem to be disconnected. Maybe they didn't start it yet because the growing season here is so late. I'm looking around. On the left side of the road, they're connected. On the right, all the trees are disconnected. I don't know if they're in the process of reconnecting right now. They probably are. They probably just didn't get to it yet. Because typically, and I learned this when I was doing my own maple syrup, if the ground is still frozen, which it probably is because of the snow, they're going to produce very little or nothing. Once the roots thaw, they start drinking a lot. So they probably didn't even get to it yet. That's a lot of trees and manpower. You have to do them all manually. And I'm not even exaggerating, there's probably 1 million trees out here connected to all these systems. They're everywhere. Yeah, and there's a lot of signs out here saying you gotta report suspicious activity because who knows what kind of wacko could do something out here to these things. Here's another pumping station coming up. They're everywhere. They got all these ones. No, they don't even have them all connected yet. But those black ones you see in there, those are all suction lines coming from somewhere far away. I can't show them all, but they are everywhere, these pumping stations. And these roads are so bad. Just terrible roads. I want to get back to the main road. And here we are, the main road. Wow, that's a lot of discarded hoses from the trees over the years. They have another pumping station here, which appears to be maybe abandoned. It's got a tower transmitting some kind of signal. I don't think it works anymore. All right, we're driving over a bridge here. Look at this, everything's starting to just thaw. Perfect conditions to start having ice jams. For example, if all this ice that's over the frozen river breaks and gets stuck under this bridge, it'll clog it and it'll flood. I've seen that happen before. It's really beautiful. Ooh, we got a moose. I didn't get the camera out in time, but a baby moose that's like half the distance from Mama Moose and me just ran into the woods. There's Mama Moose. Baby moose just ran here somewhere. I don't know where baby moose went, but it's in the woods somewhere here. This is the time when Mama Moose would get very angry if you were outside. It's very rare that they would ever go near your vehicle. You see, Mama Moose just went into the woods and they'll reconnect as soon as I'm gone. Don't want to be out here between them on foot. Same thing with bears. Except in some cases, the moose will be even more aggressive than the bear. I've been down this road before. It's very snow covered. I'm not going to attempt it now, maybe later in the year. This road honestly looks like somewhere from northern Canada once you get down it. The trees are shorter than you, and there's a lot of swamp. It's very, very beautiful up there, but I'm not going to go down there and risk getting stuck in the snow. Like, I don't think I'd ever get permanently stuck, but I don't want to go through the pain in the butt of being out with the winch. So, they didn't plow this road, you see. They plowed it in, and I just drove through the snowbank. So I know I've been here before, and I don't think this is anywhere that I really, really want to be. They plow this up here, but I don't remember there being anything. I think it just goes to a sugar shack, honestly. Yep. It's literally a dead end. I remember this, so we're just gonna back up very carefully. I've gotta turn around. The backup camera and the back window is so dirty I can't see. Otherwise I probably would try backing up, and oh, look at that. That blends in perfectly with the birch tree. I wouldn't have noticed that. They've got a Wi-Fi camera right there. Just happened to be right there. Yeah, those are all over the woods, hidden cameras to deal with thieves and vandals. They're everywhere out here. So just know that if you find a camera out here, it's not going to be the only one, and they're transmitting. Those are not recording on site. Oh, there's another one right there. You will get in huge trouble if you're caught messing with these sugar operations. There's cameras everywhere. They're hidden everywhere. So if you're tampering with one camera, you're probably on a dozen more walking in there. No blockage at this culvert, but they got a camera here. I think it's facing the wrong way. I think it's supposed to be facing the road. Today's a good day for moose. Look at that. It was just in the road. It ran in there. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but there's another one over here. Can you see it? Maybe, maybe not. No, it's too deep now. There's a baby one just a minute down the road. It makes me so happy to see the moose, because the moose are declining in population, but it's always nice to go deep into the woods and actually get to see a bunch of them. Because my area used to have moose crossing signs everywhere only 5 years ago. They took them all down. You don't see them anymore. When I was a kid, they were everywhere. Now you gotta go up north and see them all. They're all getting squeezed into a small area. We found another moose. Wow, another one. All right, everyone. I just slept here overnight in my truck. Nice peaceful night. I was too tired last night to put this video together, but I got it now, so I am nice and free to set off and do more road inspections today. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.